morning, students. Today's topic is the continuation of chapter number 3, Nazism and the Rise of Hitler. But before the starting of today's topic, which is reconstruction, we will take overview of this chapter. So, as I told you in my previous explanation about the entry of Germany and Central Powers into the First World War, and Germany and Central Powers both were defeated in First World War by the Allied powers after the entry of US in 1917. And finally, after the abdication of German Emperor, a new National Assembly was set up by the group of Democrats and Socialists on the basis of universal adult franchise. But Germany, blamed by the Allied groups for humiliation and for the destruction of life and property. That's why Allied power forced to Germany to accept defeat and signing of Treaty of Versailles. Treaty of Versailles was signed by the Germany and Allied powers in 1919, and it is designed by Allied powers to cripple Germany military, economically and territorially power. Okay? Because Allied power blamed to Germany for devastating impact on world, both psychological and financial. And after this First World War, finally Europe turned into the debtors, and earlier European continent was the creditors. Okay? But whatever Weimar Republic formed by the Democrats, Socialists and the Communists, that was not successful anyhow, because Weimar Republic had different types of problems in which Weimar Republic was unable to sort out the problems of Germany related to the economic and social. And anyhow, Germany entered into a Great Depression with US because the important Wall Street exchange of USA crashed, and number of banks were collapsed, and number of people were unemployed, and people were moving here and there on the roads, and they are willing to work at any going wages. So that was the very important time to increase powers of conservative. And that time was very important to increase the power of Hitler also. So finally, in this way, Hitler raised his power, because after the defeat of Germany, Hitler was totally furious. And finally, Hitler joined German Workers' Party and later controlled it. And after that, Hitler renamed that German Workers' Party as National Socialist German Workers' Party. And after the development of Nazi ideology in all over the Germany and in all over the nearby the European region. Anyhow, in 1932, Nazi Party became the largest party, and finally on 30 January 1933, President Hindenburg offered Hitler for the chancellorship. And students, the chancellorship was the highest position in the cabinet of minister. Okay, So after the gaining all the powers, finally on 28 February 1933, he had passed fire decree in which all the civics right like freedom of speech, press, and freedom of formation of assembly, whatever guaranteed by the Weimar Constitution to the German people, taken by or suspended by the Hitler. And after this act, Hitler turned to his arch enemies, whose were the followers of communist ideology. And one by one, Hitler killed the number of communist people and sent to the concentration camp, whatever established by the Hitler, to keep the prisoners or to keep those people who were not the followers of Hitler's party or Hitler ideology. Okay. After that, finally, on 3 March 1933, a very famous enabling act was passed, and this act established dictatorship in Germany. And after that, to check out the country condition and to check out the ideology of the people and to control the people, Hitler's and his party formed a number of surveillance and security forces, which was famous as a SA or Stormtroopers or Gestapo, which is also known as Secret State Police or Security Service. And these forces were working for the Hitler. So students, on the basis of above explanation, you can understand that how Hitler had increased his power. So today's topic is reconstruction. So first of all, we will discuss about the economic recovery, whatever done by the Hitler with the help of an economist whose name was Haldler-Sacher. And the aim was Hitler to produce full employment and full production for the development of Germany. That's why Haldler-Sacher, who aimed at full production and full employment through a state-funded and started to work creation program, in which for the economic recovery of Germany, two main projects given by the Haldler-Sacher, in which the famous German superhighways and the people cars, which was famous as Volkswagen. Okay. After that, a number of program which was based on the economic development created by the Hitler turned back to the foreign policy because Hitler wanted to capture all over the nearby region. That's why he suspended again the League of Nations in 1933 and reoccupied the Rhineland in 1936 and integrated the regions of Austria and Germany in 1938. And after the recapturing of all these regions of Germany, whatever taken by the Allied power, Hitler raised a very famous slogan, which is one people, one empire, and one leader. Okay, all right. So after this slogan, again Hitler moved towards the nearby regions of Europe and captured all the regions, in which anyhow Hitler was supported by the England. Again, to increase the power and to increase the economic development of a country, Hitler advised to economists Hjalmar Sachs for the formation of new type of policy and new type of project. But when Sachs was not agree to create any kind of program, because according to the Hjalmar Sachs, another program was not in the favor of or not will be favorable for the economic development of Hitler. So finally, Hitler said to Sachs, if you are unable to make another policy or another project to make develop Germany, then you had no place in Germany, in Nazi Germany. That's why Sachs had to leave. And after that, Hitler wanted to reduce economic crisis. That's why Hitler chose war as the way out of the approaching economic crisis. And on the basis of war, he wanted to accumulate and the expansion of territory and the resources. So on the basis of his idea, in September 1939, Germany invaded Poland. Okay, understood? But this started a war with France and England. And in September 1940, a tripartite pact was signed between Germany, Italy, and Japan. And in this way, Hitler is threatening his claim to become an international power. All right? But by the end of 1940, Hitler was at the pinnacle of his power. It means Hitler was too much ambitious, and anyhow he wanted to capture all the important countries of the world. That's why he chose war, and one by one he captured a number of important countries of the world with the help of Germany, Italy, and Japan. But Hitler not stopped here, because he wanted to conquer Eastern Europe also, to ensure direct food supplies and living space for the new Nazi German people. So, to complete his dream, again, Hitler attacked the Soviet Union in June 1941. Okay, clear? But students, whatever attacked by the Hitler on the Soviet Union in June 1941, this was the historic blunder whatever done by the Hitler. Okay, understood? Or in another way we can say, this decision of Hitler to attack on the very powerful Soviet Union was a wrong turn for Hitler. So, in response, the Soviet Red Army crushing and humiliating and defeat Germans at Stalingrad. And after the crushing of Germany, Soviet Red Army captured all the conquered regions of Hitler and reached to the heart of Berlin and establishing his Soviet ideology over the entire Eastern Europe for half a century. Alright, understood? So students, we can say here that excess is ever bad. It means whatever ambition, aim having by the Hitler, that was good. But Hitler wants to conquer world, which was impossible. So finally, on the basis of above example, we can understand that how the superstitious beliefs and too much higher dream and ideology were responsible for the fall of Hitler in the Germany and nearby the European region. So students, here I want to discuss another important point which were responsible for the fall of Hitler and for the fall of Nazi Germany. After the starting of war with the help of Italy and Japan to conquer the nearby European region, in which anyhow USA had resisted any kind of involvement in the war because USA was completely unwilling to once again face all the economic problem that the faced by the USA in First World War. But Japan wanted to expand its power in the eastern region of the world. That's why Japan had occupied French Indochina and was planning to attack on US naval bases in the Pacific Ocean. And finally, with the support of Hitler, Japan bombed the US base at Pearl Harbor. So students, Pearl Harbor was a very important economic center in which USA was busy for importing and exporting of goods and services with the help of Pearl Harbor. Alright? So after the destruction of Pearl Harbor, anyhow USA entered into the Second World War, and finally in response US dropping of the atom bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan, and the war ended after the dropping atom bomb on Hiroshima in 1945, and Hitler was completely defeated by the US. So students, this was the overall story of Hitler and his ideology and his aim and ambitions. Okay, so for today's that's all. In my next explanation, I will discuss with you Nazi worldview ideology and different type of racial utopia and different types of the formation of cult by the Hitler to raise another type of fresh or pure German blooded people, etc., etc. All right. Thank you and have a nice day. Good morning.